Hello everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new review concerning the STB, which is the tier 10 medium Japanese tank. There are a lot of things to say about this tank because it's among the best mediums at tier 10. I know it's a sentence I say way too often, talking about mainly all the mediums, but here I really want you to understand how powerful that tank is. Of course, it's not a tank I would advise to get if you're a newbie. It's definitely a tank you need to have some experience to be able to play correctly, but overall, if you follow this guide, you should be able to do quite well with it. So, first thing first, we should talk about the gun. There are two things that are a little bit boring and two things that are great about this gun in general. The first thing that annoys me is the reload time, 6.5 seconds. I know it seems to be a lot for most people, but trust me, it's not that much, as most of the time you're gonna use the equipment which is calibrated shell in order for you to increase your penetration, because your average penetration is the second thing that sucks. Look at this, 245 millimeters with regular and only 300 with your heat shells. It's definitely not a lot, and it's not going to allow you to go through most upper plates of, for example, E100, Yak Panther, E100, and all these kind of tanks you're going to see quite often on the battlefield. That's why you're going to use calibrated, and as you use calibrated shell, your reload is going to go to 7 seconds, which makes it not a really good DPM for a medium tank at tier 10. Here, I'm playing it one game, you're going to see after one game with the gun Rama. That's why I have a good DPM, but when I go and switch calibrated shell, it drops off by nearly 200 or 300, which makes it going to 2.8k, which is not that much. Now after, for the average damage, it's the traditional one, 350 with regular shells, 300 with heat, and 400 with HE. And what I love about the tank is the gun depression. You have 10 degrees of gun depression, and even if it seems pretty similar to the one you have on the M48 pattern, for example, the main difference between both tanks is that the STB is really low profile. Therefore, it's going to artificially increase your gun depression on pretty much every single terrains, which means your gun depression is on paper 10 degrees, but in practice around 12 and maybe 13 sometimes, thanks to this. And that's what makes this tank extremely versatile on terrains composed by hills, etc. And if you combine that with the fact that your turret armor is amazing, but we're going to talk about that after, it makes it one of the strongest tanks to Hulldown with. Now for the mobility, it's really a good one as well. It goes in average just a little bit less than the Leo one and better than the M48 pattern if you want a comparison. So that's pretty much a good tank in terms of mobility, and for the turn rate, it's a medium, so you have the traditional turn rate, which is great, 65 degrees per second with the tracks and 50 with the turret. Before jumping into the armor profile, I'm going to show you how I'm equipping mine. Here I'm using the gun rammer, but I would definitely advise you to go for calibrated shell instead. After, I would go for the enhanced gun lane drive, as it allows you to have a better aiming speed. And finally, you have the choice between the refined gun or the vertical stabilizer. It really depends on your playstyle. If you are going to play it with mobility and try to circle, etc., you should definitely go for the vertical stabilizer. But if you go for some massive Hulldown only, go for the gun dispersion. Now for the vitality, I go for the defense system because I'm not gonna ram anybody. The improved assembly because my armor is not great enough, not strengthened enough to be able to make enhanced armor effective. The toolbox because enhanced track is worthless. Improved optics because I'm not a tank destroyer, I'm not gonna camp. Engine accelerator because overall my mobility is great, so why not improve it even more. And finally, I am consumable because with only 7 seconds of reload, I can make it great using adrenaline that is gonna have a better duration. That's pretty much how I'm equipping my STB. Now let's go for the armor profile. Concerning the armor profile, there are two things to understand. First, let's talk about the tank if it's not angled, hiding anywhere. Your lower plate is going to be penetrated quite easily. Nearly nobody is going to bounce, except they shoot that area. It's possible to bounce, which is the upper part of the armor, because even if it's not armored at all, it's extremely angled, and therefore it's going to auto bounce most of regular shells, as long as you're in flat terrain, because if the tank is a little bit above you, it's going to be way easier for him to penetrate. Now for the side, it's the same. It's paper, literally everybody will go through, and for the ass, everybody will go through with HE. So be careful about that. Always stay in front of your opponents. Now for the turret, it's interesting. this part is literally impenetrable. Nobody will go through your gun mantlet. You have a weak spot, which is the cupola as well, but don't worry, as long as you're in Hulldown, it's impossible for them to shoot it because they will literally not see it. And you have two weak spots, which are really, really small, gotta say. Here, if we take a closer look to the turret, when you are actually angling it or using your gun depression, let's say like this, there are those two areas here that are possible to penetrate. They are really, really small, therefore it's hard. But if anything shoots in this area, it's gonna penetrate, tier 9 and tier 10 included. So be aware of this when you're playing with this tank. Now, of course, let's show you the tank with the gun depression maximized. If you go like this on a ridge line and you can hide the lower plate of your hull but not the top, it's not a problem. Nobody will actually go through. Just look at how angled it is. People will not be able to penetrate. Their only chance is here, probably here if they're really, really lucky, because most of the time it doesn't go there. And the cupola, but let's face it, nobody will get your cupola from here, or at least it's not gonna happen too much. So this tank is definitely made to be an Hulldown beast, because as long as you Hulldown with it, it's nearly impossible to penetrate you. And the fact that you're low profile, as I already told you, it's gonna increase your gun depression artificially, which makes it one of the best tanks to Hulldown with. And the cool factor is you have 10 degrees of gun depression all over the tank, except at the rear. As you can see, you only have a -1, but who cares about having gun depression on the ass, let's be honest. Now, concerning the playstyle, it's really simple. All you gotta do is find a position from which you can use your gun depression, showing your turret only. That's what we call the Hulldown. If you want to maximize the chances of getting bounces and not getting penetrated on the turret chicks or even the turret cupola, what I would do if I were you would be to just snapshots. Snapshots from Hulldown position is what works the best with this tank. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Here we take an advanced position to see if we can spot anything on the other side of the map. It seems like the enemies decided to go on the other side, the left side, which is the medium side actually. And they have quite a lot of mediums, so it's an understandable choice. Now, of course, even if most of them are on the left, it doesn't mean that on the right there is nothing, so we still need to be careful. But as they don't have any tank destroyers, and most of the time people on the top right corner are people that are playing tank destroyer, I'm pretty confident, and that's why I'm exposing myself. I know that there is only the 50B on the other side. I loaded a gold shell because I know that with 245mm of penetration, I'm probably not gonna penetrate him. I penetrated 1, I penetrated 2 when the guy tried to cross, and here we go now. Now we are in another Hulldown position. As you can see, Hulldown all the time. We sneak a first shot on the track of the E100. Always focus the tracks, guys. It's important if you want to be able to stuck your enemies. And now it's just a festival for us. We just have to sneak our shots while being completely hiding our hull. Unfortunately, the E50M is playing way too aggressively here and our hull was exposed, so it was easy for him to penetrate. But it's not a problem. I see that the E100 seems to be sneaky. He wants to go around. He's probably trying to circle us. We need to avoid that and prevent it from happening. So what do? And another Hulldown position. That's all you gotta do. And just look at how easy it is on this map to take those Hulldown positions, because thanks to my low profile and my amazing gun depression, I'm able to sneak shots on the E100 through the rails, whereas here, as the E100 is way too high, he's not even able to see me. That's what I love doing with my STB, especially when there are rails on this map. And we're gonna go for another shot. Can we penetrate the E100? Yes, we can. We managed to put him on fire. That's perfect. That's free damage. Can we probably kill the guy if he shows himself? No, we can't, because he's hiding behind the hills. But that's not a problem. That's not a problem, simply because there are other targets on the battlefield. There is this Leo one, for example. Here we take another Hulldown position. We sneak the shot. Yes, it goes through. The Leo doesn't seem to see us and he doesn't care. That's perfect, but now he's hiding. As he's hiding and there is only 3 people left, I really want to do my damage. That's why I push. Taking a shot from the Vickers here, that's not a problem. I can still manage to get something. Can we get a shot on the Leo? Yes, we do, with the full alpha damage. That's perfect. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to get him, so now we go for the ice door. Can we kill the guy? No, he died before. Can we probably kill the Vickers? Yeah, we get for 1 shot. We had 1 shot here. Okay, the guy's hiding. Can we maybe sneak another shot for us to pass 4k damage? That would be perfect. Yes, we do. We finally have our last shot, and we also didn't get the kill. No kills, but at least here I showed you how you play your tank. Simple. You just go around being Hulldown and you're set up to win. Alright, now guys, for the second game we are following Scorpio, which is playing his STB-1 as well. As you can see, there is a difference between his reload and mine because I was using the gun rammer in the previous game, and here he's using calibrated shell. And you're gonna see why using calibrated shell is really useful, because he's gonna have to use it. Just wait for the replay, it's gonna come. At the beginning of the game he tried to take the hill, but unfortunately it's impossible, and I really love what he's doing here. Instead of focusing on the close combat targets, he goes for the tank destroyer, and you should do the same, the exact same, if you're in this kind of matchup. Why? Because for the moment those tank destroyers are spotted because they are moving from the spawn to their camping position, but when they are gonna be in their camping position and they're gonna use their camos, it's gonna be impossible to penetrate them. So if you can at the beginning of the game always focus them, it's gonna be easier for you later on during the replay or during the game, if you want, to be able to kill them easily. Here now, it's all about playing Hulldown. I mean, he has the gun depression, nobody can actually penetrate him, so he's just using his reload time to kill that T-62A, which is AFK, and you're gonna see that the fact that the T-62A is AFK is gonna save him a lot of troubles. Here, the T-62A is dead, now he has the choice. Is he gonna focus the guys in front of him, or is he gonna come back and help his team? I think his choice is made as they are playing pretty aggressively in front of him, and I can understand how he doesn't want to leave his team. I know this guy, I know he's a good player, and I know he knows what he's doing, but here he's hesitating. I see it by how he's turning his tank. Here he tries to get some shot on the IS-8 and the T-125 before they push, but now he realizes. He's watching his map and he said to himself, okay, there is the E-50 and the E-100 in the back, I need to do something about them. That's why he's pushing the E-50, and he's always focusing the first gallon of the track. Always do that. As long as you do that, you're gonna keep them tracked, and it's gonna be easier for you to circle them or even side hug. Because the side hug technique is actually something that works pretty well with the STB, and you're gonna see it now. He has to focus the E-50. He needs to kill that E-50 before the E-100 makes it. Unfortunately, is he gonna take the shot of the E-100? He tries something, and yes! He managed to circle the E-100 without taking the shot using his great mobility. Now he has to kill the E-50 first and then focus on the E-100. What he does here is extremely important. He tracks the E-100 in order for him to make him use his repair kit. Has he used his repair kit? He only has to make him use it one more time, and he's gonna try to side hug here, because I want to remind you, your turret is extremely armored, so if you manage to make him shot in your turret, you're gonna make him bounce. Unfortunately, Scorpio did a small mistake here. If I was him, I would have pushed directly in order for me to get away, but we all do some mistakes in the heat and the stress of the battle. But at least here he's doing an amazing move. I literally love what he did here. Instead of trying to circle or get away from the E-100, he's using the strength of his tank, which is your turret. He's hiding behind, and he managed to make the E-100 miss him, which allowed him to destroy him with heat shells. I want to remind you that here, if he was not using those calibrated shell, he wouldn't have been able to go through the E-100 hull and the turret, sorry, and it would have turned out completely differently. Here I'm gonna speed up a little bit the replay because it's gonna take a long time before they actually find the Heavy-183, but during this short period of time I want to remind you that if you can't find an all-down position, or if you are getting pushed by anything, just side hug. When you side hug with your STB, you have the mobility to make them bounce. I did a video on the side hug. If you're interested, just go into my explanation, I think. Explanation or Blitz tactic. Blitz tactic, I think it's my Blitz tactic playlist, and you're gonna see how to side hug. Alright, let's go back to the replay. He finally found that Heavy-183. The main thing here is not taking any shots. I want to remind you that the Heavy has such a huge gun that even if he's only showing his track for the Heavy to bounce, if the Heavy shots with some HE shells, it's over for the STB. So here he's trying to take some distance, and that's a good thing to do because the Heavy-183 doesn't have the same view range as the STB. If the STB spots the Heavy, he's gonna spot him before the Heavy can actually spot him. That's what he did here. He tried to sneak a shot. Unfortunately, his shot went straight into the hill and not on the Heavy, but it's not a problem. He can still work this out perfectly. He has to wait for him not to be spotted, but I think the Heavy knows that the STB is on the hill, but still he's gonna try to find a special maybe, yeah, a special place, and here that's perfect for him, because from this little spot it's quite hard for the heavy to be able to penetrate him. I want to remind you that the heavy has a really bad gun accuracy, so if the heavy tries to snapshot, there is 1 chance out of 3 that his shot is definitely not gonna go into the STB. Now he has to think, okay, you have the gun depression, yes, you have the gun armor, but against an heavy 183 it's not gonna be effective, because if he decided to shoot with hash, if he shot your gun mantlet here with that low HPs, he's gonna die anyway. Of course, as the heavy 183 is alone in the cap circle and doesn't have the mobility, the STB has to make the move. And as you can see, the time is running by. There is only 30 seconds left. Is he gonna try something? Yeah, he went for a quick spot to see the heavy is here. He's not here, so he can safely drop out. He goes there. Is he gonna try something? Yeah, he tries. He goes for a first shot. The heavy is trying something. Okay, now he's hiding. He's hiding. Is he gonna try to brain him or something? He tries, and unfortunately the heavy had the luck of his life by snapshotting. Don't worry, Scorpio, you played really well. Congratulations to you. The only mistake you made was against the E100 when you tried to side-hug him and wait in the back instead of actually going away, but mistakes happen to everybody. That was still an amazing game, and I really want to thank you for sending it to me. If you enjoyed the review, guys, you can subscribe, you can like, you can share, and tell me in the comments if you like that new way of commentary. I tried something like football matches to really get you into the game, so feel free to tell me if you like it in the comments, and I'm gonna see you soon for a new video, guys.